Welcome back to another episode of the 100% podcast. I'm delighted you can be here. Welcome to another episode, and this one is going to be slightly different. I've thought of a new concept moving forward whereby I'm going to do 10 to 15 minute episodes, bite-sized, focusing in on one thing. Today you catch me in an office of 40,000 degrees. It is during the heat wave, the hottest heat wave in a million years apparently in the UK, but I don't think you can deny the statistics. But without further ado, let's talk to you about the concept we're going to be working on moving forward. And that's all of the things that I kind of coach within my program, help people overcome and move away from and create new habits. And one of the first ports of call, so to speak, within this episode is going to be around the fact of people starting over again, or like the why do people end up starting over again, and talking about how you can stop starting continually, but also talk about the reasons why that might be. I think people can kind of get caught in a trap of, I tell you what's really prevalent with this, and obviously you catch me thinking off the top of my head, but also with some plans in mind as well, talking about this, is the rise of the amount of advice and the amount of people that you can see talking about X, Y, and Z online, especially when it comes to weight loss and health, because there are a million things. You've only got to look at somebody like Stephen Bartlett's podcast to see the contradiction of opinion and idea. He has experts per se on his podcast episode that contradict other experts. So if you've got an expert contradicting another expert, let's just say that you've got an expert in creatine and an expert in collagen, that expert from creatine could say something about the impact of creatine on your brain, and the collagen expert could say something completely different. So that's where we've got a lot of confusion. But one thing that I think is really important and prevalent, especially, when I started my journey as a coach, it was around the fact of I wanted to help people lose weight. That was where I started my journey, and obviously got very much wrapped into mindset. The changes start to happen in people when they start realizing that the weight loss or the fitness isn't necessarily the number one problem, right? It's like giving somebody a box load of supplements and telling them to look after their diet. Like the journey and the goal that they're looking for isn't going to be solved by the supplements if everything else, every other pillar is what we'll call it, within their journey, or within their goal chasing is rubbish. And that's why we've created the 5/5 of 100% as well in the 100% coaching. But more importantly, it's about what it is that you're looking after during or undertaking that challenge. So, for example, if you're not nurturing your brain or nurturing how you feel about yourself when you're undertaking a weight loss journey, then that feeling of poor mindset around yourself, poor mindset about the opinion of yourself is going to take over. Same if you've got a bad relationship with other people, if you're in an environment that isn't serving you, if you've got real heavy stress at work, you will find a reason to have to start again in your journey of trying to lose weight. If you are, let's think of another example. If you're somebody who has no passions in life and you're literally working 9 to 5 every day, your weekends are like, you're kind of like, you've gone from being somebody that used to enjoy something to now that you're not, and you're just kind of stuck in the motions, stuck going through the motions. That can be another reason why people don't lose weight, because you've got no passion and you've got no hobbies that genuinely are sparking interest in your life. And the other reason as well is that because there are so many, this goes back to kind of what I was saying at the start, so many other reasons of why it may be that you keep starting your weight loss journey and starting again, is because how many different things have you tried? Are you constantly going from like Eddie Abu's meat diet to then thinking you need to cut out carbs, to then thinking that Juice Plus is going to work for you, to then maybe even trying the weight loss jab, right? And then think, oh no, why am I sticking like needles in myself? I could be doing this a way where it's going to be maybe more rewarding mentally. And there are all of these things that keep us going around. But one thing that you'll have in common with all of those things is that you do it for a couple of weeks, like 100 million miles an hour, and then you'll miss one, and because you've missed one, you think that it's the end of the journey, end of the attempt, and then you just think, oh fuck it, I've missed one, so I'm going to start again. And I think when it comes to my personal experience with this would have been with my early running. I would go like full board, like I'd obviously like ran that first mile, and then I'd start running, and then I'd get up to like 2-3 miles, get to the 5k mark, and then I'd stop, and I'd start again. I'm going to take my running more seriously now, and then go out for, you know, like 2-3 runs a week, do it for a few weeks, and then stop. And then it's only really over the last couple of years that maybe 2-3, I don't even know actually. When did my first half marathon was 2021. So it's been 5 years now. But with those 4 years before, there would have been a journey in my own brain and with my own mindset around running that now has made it more of a thing that I do on a full-time basis, obviously excluding injury. That has made it something that I guess has become part of my identity. And we could talk about identity another day, because I do think that that's a real problem and something that people don't think about very often. And that's where I kind of waver down the spirituality mindset kind of route, because if you're imagining yourself as something, so you talk about yourself as an unfit person, you talk about yourself as somebody who struggles with diets, you talk about yourself as somebody who doesn't have time to cook a healthy meal, then like in some ways that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's not in no way is that supposed to be a detriment to anybody, but it's just the way that it is. Okay, so the problem with starting over is that you always need to have motivation, right? Because when you start a journey, you're going to be motivated. You've started your new diet, you've been to supermarket of choice, you've got your shopping trolleys worth of healthy food, and then you feel motivated to start. But what happens when the motivation drops? What thoughts go through your head? What actions do you undertake when you wake up and you're like, ugh, I've got to do said thing again? And that brings back to the importance of having fun with it. The other thing about that is that when you do drop the momentum, and when you do drop motivation, there's also a chance here that you're going to lose momentum. And that's why I called my 100-day program 100 days of momentum, or 100% momentum, because it's about looking after momentum. There's nothing worse than, you know, being mid-task and then getting swiped with an illness, because let's just say I'm in the middle of editing a YouTube video, or in the middle of doing some recording on batch, which is going to be a thing, and then I get ill. The momentum that I would have had of recording those 2-3 videos prior would have been wiped out, and then it's almost like starting again, like pushing that ball down a hill. Something I've always spoken to clients about as well is that when you start a journey, not only are results harder to see instantly, not only is it harder because people don't give you the kind of kudos that you're expecting or you would like to hear, because, you know, everybody likes a compliment and you're a liar if you say you don't. When you don't hear that, and you've got to wait 4 to 8 weeks for somebody to say, oh, you're looking well, or oh wow, like you've lost weight, or whatever the thing is that you're searching for, that then adds momentum to that boulder that you've had to push downhill. And then when that boulder starts going, it then becomes easier. And then, you know, because you're hearing those things and you're telling yourself those things, I've done it for 4 to 8 weeks, people are telling me that I'm looking better, then you start to kind of like rewire your brain a little bit, and that's when the identity patterns start to change. But the reason you keep starting again is because you are dropping those, you're losing your momentum. And the reason that you're losing momentum is because maybe you're making the thing so much solely about one metric, i.e. the scales, or i.e. or going on a diet, rather than many other things that may be making this journey that you're about to partake on or are partaking in more difficult. So how do we solve this? One of the ways, and of course, like, you've probably, if you've been a listener to my podcast, you would have heard me say this a million times. Maybe not a million, but would be close. How do we solve this is that we try and make this manageable, and we try and break things down into easy patterns for you to undertake or partake in your weeks and in your days. And the way that we do that is we we have your overall goals. So within 100% coaching, it would be in 5 different areas, the 5 different pillars, the 5/5 of 100%. What passions are we working towards? What performance levels are we working towards? What financial bonuses can we look for while you're undertaking this momentum? How can we improve our relationships? And how can we improve our mindset? 5 different areas. And in those areas, you're going to be giving yourself 1 to 2, maybe to 3 if the goals are good enough, areas to work towards. And then on a day-to-day basis, we're waking up and we're writing down those 3 goals. Why am I telling you this? Is because the importance of journaling, I've spoken about so many times, as I've previously said on this podcast, is so important. And the reason that you do only 3 tasks a day, well, maybe 1 key task and then 3 mini tasks if you really want to go away and do this yourself, is that then it becomes easy to manage. You know you're not trying to squeeze the juice too much. You know you're not going to burn out. And it then makes things manageable. And when, let's just say, one of your tasks in a day is you need to meal prep for the next day, or you promise yourself that you're going to do a 15-20 minute workout, or you're going to go gym, or you're going to go for a run, or you're going to sign up to a gym, whatever it may be, if we're going to talk about weight loss specifically. When you tick those things off and you achieve them, you then get another shred of evidence, another piece of evidence towards the journey that you're going towards. And when you've been taking these journeys in the past, you've kind of missed the good things that you've done. You've bypassed them. You've done the meal prep, but you've forgotten you've done it. So that when you do the thing that is holding you back, the drinks, the overeating at the weekend, whatever it may be, maybe like recreational drug use, whatever, you then forget and you think you're in a fuck it mentality, and then that's when you have to start again in a few weeks' time. And when those things are followed and you've got that framework of you wake up every day, you set those mini goals, maybe you tick off 2 of them, right? But that's better than none. And that's what keeps and looks after momentum. So when if you are listening to this episode and you're driving in your car or you're watching me on YouTube right now, genuinely get that notebook and paper and think about those 5 areas, because they are the things that have really helped me. And obviously, if you're somebody that is, you're like taking this seriously, you want to stop starting over, and you need me to explain even further what those areas to write down those goals are in, drop me a DM or drop me a comment on YouTube or whatever it may be, and we can speak about it. And this is where the importance of journaling comes in, because we're not looking to journal for 365 days a year, right? We're looking to journal for 250, let's just say, if you're just about to start. We're looking at nurturing momentum enough for you to see the evidence. And I bet you, right, if you were to think about your year and think 365 days of X, Y, and Z that you want to achieve, like doing that for 365 days is almost an impossible task, because even if you don't bring like excuses and lack of momentum and energy in the way, you've got holidays, you've got Christmas, you've got being unwell, you've got kids being ill, you've got family members being unwell, whatever it may be, you're going to find these areas in your life that are going to slow you down. So to be a perfectionist and to be without, obviously, like I know my brand is 100%, but it doesn't mean you've got to be 100%. It just means that you need to stop starting over. Like feeling 100% means that you start a journey, you look after momentum, and then you start to see the results. And when you start to see the results, it's when the magic happens, because you can see the evidence of things that are paying off. You can see the evidence of things that are happening. So breaking this bite-sized episode down today, let's stop focusing on one area. That's the first key takeaway. If it is weight loss and fitness that you're really striving towards, let's make this about you. What other pillars of your life, what other areas of your life are slowing you down? Because there will be one. There'll be a reason why whenever it comes to your health and fitness, that you end up starting again in a couple months' time. And the second key takeaway is start journaling. Obviously, I have a free tool at 100%journal.co.uk. We'll pop that up on the screen and we'll pop that in the description of the episode if you are listening. You can go there, you can register. It's a professional journal online that has the tools that means that you can look after your momentum on a day-to-day basis and will give you the mental assistance that you need to continue to follow a goal. And that's where I'm going to leave it. There are two things that will help you stop stopping. I always get stop starting over, or because you don't want to keep starting over, right? If you keep starting over, it means you'll lose momentum. And if you stop stopping, it means that you've got no chance of getting momentum in the first place. And there are the things that we're looking to help you do. And do you know what? Doing this episode today, just being full frontal and honest, I'm like, it sounds really easy, doesn't it? And it kind of is. And I think that when we break things down and we start to look at why are people so successful? So little finish for today. I went and listened to the owner of Through Dark on Friday. I was fortunate enough to hear Stazika talk, and he said that the magic is made in the boring, and he's so right, because not making your goal about one thing and nurturing momentum and filling in 5 boxes in the morning and in the night on your phone to journal, or on paper if you prefer to use a pen and paper, it's not hard, is it? It's something that we can all do, and good standards are available to everybody. I hope this episode has helped today. If you found this useful, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to be doing a few more little bite-sized ones like this, where it's just me chatting about the coaching methods that I use to help other people. So if this has resonated and if this is something that you want to learn more about, remember you can go straight to the journal, 100%journal.co.uk, 100%journal.co.uk. Or if you want me to directly send you the journal, just DM me journal and I'll whip it over. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm here with new episodes most Fridays. I'll speak to you soon.